Buddy the dog, what are you doing? Yeah, he's a little excited because we're back down to freezing cold temperatures again. Miserable. Single digits tonight. We were just at 67 degrees. What's going on wrong here? Well, I can theorize only about what the trouble might be. Perhaps it has something to do with the fact that, you know, we went Canadian now. So now maybe the weather came back. I don't know. But that is neither here nor there. I want to start working on this, but I'm not going to be miserable the whole time we're doing it. But we'll see what we get into. And I'm going to get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Brownstown Man, and this here little Fiat 1255 front wheel assist even is now residing here as part of this collection of stuff I've accumulated. And yeah, some people commented that's one of the nicest ones you bought. Well, normally I don't buy running tractors, so this is very unusual. But there are several things that I want to sort out on it, and in order to do that I'm going to have to order parts. I don't have everything I need, so we're going to have to figure that all out. Number one thing I talked about, 155 612A. We need to find the sending unit, or not sending unit, but the heating element that fits in that elbow, so we can eliminate all of that nonsense. I mean, it's already got that elbow on, so I'm not opposed to putting a heater back in it, as long as we can make it nice. But that ain't doing it for me. Number two thing, I dug around in my stash of things, and I found this. So we're gonna clean that up and make it red. And then that will get mounted down in here somewheres, which will also require new hoses. And I thought about going to the farm store after a while, but I'm almost positive they're not going to have two of the tips I need, and if they do, that's going to be $50-some a piece. So I'll have $100 in that, and I might be able to get them a little bit cheaper online. Also, whilst I was there, I was going to check on hoses, but I'm thinking that the last time I did that, I went with custom hoses because one side is like 3/8 and the other side was something else. And here I see they've gone something totally different. They've got, yeah, we're gonna have like O-ring adapted fittings there. I don't know what we've done. So we're gonna have to see what they've done and match something up to that. And then like the top, they got a pipe nipple, but it's smaller on one end, and so we're gonna have to do some custom fab there, and we'll look at one of the other ones that I've already done it to, so that they're at least consistent. Maybe they won't be right, but at least they'll all be wrong together, you know, so that when you look at them sitting side by side, you don't think, hey, that one's not right. But whatever. So that's gonna go on, that's gonna go away. We'll get whatever combination of hoses we need. Oh, it's snowing now. Wonderful. What else? Well, another thing I was going to check at the farm store, but I looked online and it shows they don't have it, so I guess I'll probably just order that too off the internet. Extra long top link. I'm pretty sure you have to have the extra long one to get the geometry right. At least I did on the 1365. Now maybe the arms are different on the smaller one. I would find that hard to believe that they do two different things, but that is quite possible. Maybe I don't need the extra long one, but is it better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it type situation? I just know you can't get everything to play ball together this way, tipping wise, if you don't have the longer thing on the other one anyway. So we need a top link. That's my moral of the story there. I need to check my stash of stuff. Last time I ordered pins, did I order enough of these? I ordered nicer drawbar pins, and I thought I had an extra set, but I gotta look now because I don't know where I put those away. That wasn't that long ago, but yeah, just little bitty piddly things to start with. I brought along diesel fuel from town because I felt like last time we were running it, it fluttered a little bit, which probably means it's about out of fuel, which probably means I've already got air into it, which probably means that it will not run. So that's not really very handy for us, friends. Also, I see that somebody has, okay, they've changed the fuel line situation and they put like barb fittings on, which there, I guess, isn't anything wrong with that, but should we decide we don't like it, we could get the one like I did on the other one that's all one piece and make that just the way it should be. Boy, it is miserably cold out here in the wind. I hate to tell you, friends. Let's start by putting some fuel in it, just so I feel better about myself. I really need to move hay, so perhaps I will do that too here in a little bit, but I'll probably have to stop and warm up again before I do that because the wind is killing me here. It's terrible. But the funnel is over here. I'll get that. We'll try to put some fuel in it and we'll see where we get from there. Oh my. I gotta take the glove off to get in there. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna set you there. That's not very interesting view, but I haven't got a lot of choice here. Oh. They don't hold a tremendous amount of fuel, but they also run forever on what they do hold, so there's that. I bet it won't hold another full can, but it's certainly worth a try. This can looks like crap, but it's really a good can. The outer layer of plastic has started to come off of this, and that's why it is what it is. I'm gonna go kind of slow here because I'm just not sure that it's really gonna. How did we do it? Oh yeah, we're right to the brim. She was empty. Well, we could try to start it, but I have a feeling that winter time is not going to be kind to us. It would be a good test just to see how bad our battery is. Also, a bad thing I did the other day was forget to, yeah, it ain't gonna start in the cold. And that might also be because I let air into it, probably, maybe, if it was really that low. So we need to just walk away. The other day I forgot to shut that off, and I wonder if it has a battery drain that, you know, we're gonna have to address, since it had that light slightly glowing, you know. We'll have to sort out stuff like that, but we're not going to do it on a frigidly cold day like this. That sucks. It would be nice to hear it run, but I think we'll just wait a couple days till it's warm, and we'll sort out some other stuff on it first. And actually, we'll probably not work on it at all. We'll go in where it's warm and work on something in there, because yeah, that 67-degree day spoiled me, and now I'm not excited about being out here anymore. So yeah, and the same way with like all the cosmetic stuff I want to do, you just can't do it when everything's cold. The metal has to be warm, and that's just how it is. So there, that paint's the roughest on the whole tractor right there, for whatever reason. But yeah, look how thin the paint is. Here we even got Fiat orange coming through. Interesting. I've never, well, yeah, that's just interesting. So, anywho's, I will look up top link situation. I will look up, I will get this painted red. I will get hoses made in the next day or so. Couplers ordered. And then also another thing I could do is I have another muffler that matches the other ones, and I might swap that on just so that they're uniform again, so that when mine are all parked next to each other, they look similar, you know. Nothing wrong with the one that's on here, really, other than it's a more American style. It's obviously not the right size there either. They just cranked her down as tight as they could. But I'm sure I have one I ordered and was going to use on that David Brown, and then decided I'm going to spend high dollar and buy a restoration quality one for that one probably, and a whole new elbow to go on the manifold. So yeah, I guess I'll probably bring you back later then and leave this one here on that note. I looked online and I could not find another matching headlight. So what I'll probably end up doing is taking the one off the back and moving it up here, and then take this one off and move it back there, so at least it's less noticeable for now. And then we'll have to keep our eyes out. You can get these Hobbs style lights. I think John Deere even used some that were like combo tail lights. But the problem is there's different styles of wire going in on them. And the Fiat's used a single screw to go in. The John Deere style Hobbs lights, the wires come up through the post. Like on the 2020, that was a Hobbs light that we just put on the other day. And then there's a style that has like a 3-prong plugs that you just plug in the back. And so that's not quite right either. So I'll keep my eyes peeled for another single screw type. They're out there, you just gotta keep your eyes open, you know. They're just a little different. And actually, now that I look at it, that one's bent. This one's bent over, so maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll keep my eyes open for the right thing. Once again, you know, it came over here probably without tires, rims, or lights on it, and then that was put over here, because like this cast piece is an Oliver piece, and then these are American style lights, because the Fiat did not use that kind of stuff. They used the lights that were mounted in those holes up here, and so they didn't buy them on these. You know, the 1250 and 1450 had those, but they didn't do it on these. So there you have it. But yes, progress. We're going to keep making progress. I might also think about ordering that line. Not that this doesn't work, but the thing is, it puts it out. It would put it out here probably shorter, and I don't know. Another thing I thought of just now as my brain was working, surely they didn't, no, okay, I was gonna say, I was wondering, they surely didn't shut the fuel off and I ran it all that time before it ran out of fuel, but no, that's not it. So, anywho's, we will tackle more of this after I do some homework and get some parts on the way. But I need to get, like, if I get a top link, we can take it out and play with it. You know, I can put a hay spear on it if I want and go get it totally covered with manure. Wouldn't that be the thing to do? Probably not really so much, but yeah, just little things to make it more better and the way that it should be in my thinking. So I'll look around and see. I thought I ordered extra pins. If I got them, I'll bring them up and put them on, and then we'll tackle the rest of this. I could reuse old couplers and clean them up and whatever, but why don't I just put new ones on, you know? That way they don't leak, in theory, right away. Because yeah, you can kind of fix these up a little, put a new O-ring in it and whatever, but the surfaces are still worn from all the years of vibration and stuff, and they will leak some. So it's just better to, in my mind, just bite the bullet and put the stuff on, especially if it's on something you want to try to keep fairly clean. So, and I don't think the farm store will have enough of those in stock, like I said, because this is kind of a, I think everybody should use them, because these are the easiest to hook up. 8250 Pioneers, because they've got that pin in the center and it relieves pressure, and you can do it, but they're expensive, and so people cheap out and they use the 4250s that have a ball and they're two-way, or they'll use single-way couplers, which I hate with a passion. I don't know why anybody would want those, because those you have to hold forward while you're shoving the hose in. You're working against yourself. These are so simple. All you do is just shove the hose in and it connects. So, you know, that is what it is. But there's limitless possibilities we can do here. You know, we could even, I probably won't do it right away, but we could get the right style seat cushion and then put that in. It's a lot less comfortable than that one, but you know, that is what it is. And then, like I said, just making it a little bit better as we go, and then we'll use it a little bit, and then we'll find out more stuff that we would like to do better or worse than this or that. And that's where we are, you know. It's just a little bit of a kind of a ongoing project, but it's not anything that's keeping us from using it. Once we get our little top link on there that we could use 3-point attachments, why, we can take this out and start going to town, you know. And same way like with the remotes. I don't think I've ever used the remotes on any of the Fiats I have, but if you need them, it'd be sure nice to have them there, and then have them set up in a nice way where they weren't just cobbled on, you know. So whatever, I'm rambling, but I'll get some stuff, homework, order that stuff, have it ready, so that when I bring you back here in a second, it'll be then, and I'll have all the stuff, and we can just magically start putting it together. So that's what we'll do. All right, let's look this one over and see how I did this. Okay, there was a bracket that was already on there, it looks like, and I wonder if that was probably something someone, well, no, I bet not. I bet that was a factory bracket to do that, because it goes to 2 of the bolt holes that hold the axle on. Okay, but see how that tucks out of the way real handily? It does kind of rub up here like you wish it was a little different. I might do some online digging and see if a guy could find that. I was going to walk around so we could see the other side, but that's not going to work. I'll have to do some checking, and maybe even look on my parts tractors to see if any of them have that, because that would certainly make it more cleaner, you know what I mean. And then that's why I went the way I did with those hoses, which I'm not saying that's the right or wrong way, but custom hoses then with like 3/8 pipe on one side and 1/2-inch pipe on the other side to go to the couplers. So we'll figure that out, and then that'll make our decision. One of these days when it's warm, we need to check this over again too, because I'm afraid that we put these filters on and it looks like they've been leaking, and I bet you the silly thing has lost all of its fuel, and that really blows to Knutson, friends, you know. I'm sure that we can't see in there either, but I don't know. Well, that's for warmer times. It's in the shed. We'll have to find a place for the red one to be in the shed. We might just drive it in over here next time we get it running, or move this one over and put the other one nose straight in. It's probably easier to maneuver this than it is to maneuver the front wheel assist one around stuff. And this one is set up super narrow, which I like. As I get more tractors, I don't mind when the wheels are set in narrow, because it makes Tetrising them in much more easier-ish. So, sure. Buddy the dog, what are you doing? Carrying a cardboard box out there so that I have to find it and pick up trash? I thought whilst I was out here, I'd quickly check and make sure that this is still okay. I need to take that head before it gets out of hand, and that's still very good and oily. We'll just walk away from that. I got some leads and some stuff for that though, friends. I ordered some parts to maybe fix this governor, but now I think I found a complete new old stock one. And if that's the case, we're gonna slap that together and it's gonna be like a new one. So we'll deal with that later. But we'll take this head in and get that in line so he can get that, whatever he needs. And I've got another head in case we need pieces. I probably have several. Well, I take that back. I know we've got that parts motor we robbed that thing off of, but I might have those other heads that I have may not be off of a 3 gear. They might be off of a 5 gear. I can't remember. I've got 70 parts, but I just got to sort through it. So I want to get this going too, keep this project moving so that it's not sitting apart forever and ever, because that never does them any favors. But like I said, I didn't intend on buying another tractor. So now I have to work twice as hard to get everything done I wanted to accomplish, but that's okay. That's okay. I like my Fiats. They're really becoming a thing around here. I don't know. I can't believe it. It started with this one, and from here it has gotten totally chaotic. Yeah. But anywho, we will sort that out some other time. I just needed to look at that and see how that was, because like I said, I want to try to keep them all fairly uniform, and then that way when they're all sitting next to each other someplace, people will say, oh, that's how they're supposed to be, whether they are or not, you know. This one, I found a new old stock one of these lights. Isn't that pretty? Wish I could find a whole case of them somewhere, but that's probably not going to happen again. All right, let's get this tore apart so we can maybe make it red. We need to get back to work on our other projects. I want that saw put together before winter's over, and I'd like that Maytag put together. So we need to get to work and not get distracted by other things. But our weather got unexpectedly nice there for a little bit, so we had to ride that pony while we could. One of my tools out that I took along on our service call. I thought that it might be better. We might need it. You know the story, friends. The basement has sort of become my carburetor rebuilding area. So all of the stuff, I just robbed all the parts from down here to do that the other day. I don't know what people keep sending me messages, and I can't keep up on all of it. Oh man, that's caked in there, friends. Solid chunkage. Thought maybe I could flip off a huge lot of it and get big chunks like this out at once. We'll need a 7/16 to get that pulled loose. Maybe. Kinda, sort 12 millimeter. I have lots of foreign wrenches now. It's 12, it needs to be, so I need an 11 or a 7/16. What are the chances? I thought I saw an 11. Nope, there's what's a 1/2 inch. Oh my goodness. The basement tools are working out for us, but they're also not the most complete set. And we're struggle busing. And yes, they make an updated retainer, Maybach does, that goes semicircle around, but I haven't had necessarily that much trouble with these. Very occasionally, one of these will jump out, but for the most part, this pretty well does the trick. Personal preference, I suppose. Didn't want to rake any more dirt in the hole than necessary. Aha. Quite honestly, these would probably clean up if we put them in the ultrasonic thing, but I don't know if I want to go that route. Like I said, you're just asking for trouble as far as leaks go. And then you're going to be tearing it apart all the time, and that ain't no fun, friends. It ain't no fun. Come on. Grab it now. Come on. I found another one of these that was I had outside in my stash of stuff. It was a lot cleaner, but I figure we might as well clean this one up sometime, so we'll save the other one for another project. It's still got intact factory style plugs. And for a while I had a source where I could get them, but then the last time I ordered them, they didn't come in looking like that, and I threw a fit and the place refunded it, but they didn't understand that my whole point of buying them was because I wanted original looking. I didn't just want a rubber plug, I wanted an original looking rubber plug, friends. What are the chances I can get there? Probably not. Probably not down here. Unless I hold it somehow. There we go. Let's get this one broke loose. There we go. Take all of that loose. And ta-da. We have two pieces. We will clean up on this. Consequently, this piece here is still available from Agco, but it's $119. So, if you need one, you can get it. I always thought it'd be something that if somebody could make it aftermarket with a CNC, it wouldn't be no trouble now, because they always bring high dollar when you see them on auctions. I try to snag them whenever I see them, because I like this style. It holds the couplers I like, and it is a factory option. So I put it on everything, even the older ones that wouldn't have had this, you know. But anyway, we got to get a bunch of scraping here. I looked up all my usual online sources, and I could not find anybody who had a salvage bracket like what was on my green 1365 that bolted to the axle housing. And I found some that had, for the other style couplers, that were larger, and then they just used like a slot cut in the metal and a retaining ring made to it. But they wanted like $75 a piece for those things, and I'm not going to buy one just to saw it up and modify it. If I'm going to do that, I'll just buy a piece of steel and make something. So I guess before this project is done, I will end up pulling that one off the 1365, and then we'll see if we can counterfeit it a little bit and make some. But we should also probably, he says as he's not paying attention to you and cleaning up the table, we should probably also make sure that the bolt pattern is the same on the 1265 size rear end axles versus the 13 size, because if it's not, then we don't want to make a bunch of brackets for 13 size and find it's wrong. But if we can make these, what I'm thinking, to adapt to where these go on, I will probably make, I don't know, 4 or 5, half a dozen maybe, because I've got 1250A that could use one, 1355 Heritage thing could use one. I've got more I can't think of right now off the top of my head, but more Fiats, and I'll probably own more in my lifetime. So once I get the pattern nailed out, I'll just knock out a few of those, because it's all it's got to be is a piece that captures 2 bolt holes, and then it comes out with a place where you can put a hole in to mount this to, and then it sticks out the way that it'll be in there like that, you know, sideways of what it would be on a regular 4-digit tractor, but it tucks right in there nice, and I like the way that looks, and it keeps it out of the way when you're using the 3-point hitch, because 99.999% of the time on these little tractors you're going to be using the 3-point hitch, not the remote outlets. So I would rather they be tucked out of the way, and then that way they're still intact when you want to use them. So I'll get this cleaned up and painted red. Somewhere I should have some sunrise red. That's my preferred flavor of Oliver red, which I can't find now, but I'm sure I've got some. I don't know. I'll have to hunt. If I don't have any down here, I'll have some outside, because I use that color a lot, and it is a happy color. It maybe isn't the original color, but I like it. So Rust-Oleum Sunrise Red, that's what I use, and we'll see how close a match that is to what the tractor is. But anyway, not to bore you with details, I will get to work on this, and we will have it ready for the next part of the video. All right, this has been, I cooked it a few times in the old ultrasonic jobby, but I think I'm also going to put it in the, let's just soak it for like 24 hours in evapo-rust and see what happens. I'm hoping that'll take off some more, it'll get rid of some more of the paint, and it'll clean up everything just as nice as you please. It's pretty good the way it is, but if we're gonna do it, might as well do it right, you know. We'll leave the hardware out, we can clean that up by hand. But these 2 pieces mainly are what I'm after. Maybe we'll even put these in just to see what they do. See if evapo-rust will turn those chains into nice, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Don't know. Haven't done it that way before. Let me try to, I'm getting too many things in my brain. Let's put this, some evapo-rust. Recycled evapo-rust. But it'll still work. There we go. Submerged. We'll let that cook a while, and we'll see what we got. I did manage today to get hydraulic couplers ordered. I found them online for about $42 a piece. That's about as cheap as they get. I got, what else did I order? I found some more of those dust plugs. Hopefully they're the correct kind. I ordered them just to see, so time will tell on that. I have found potentially original top link stuff. I had to order it in pieces, like the center tube and then the 2 different ends. We'll see if those show up correctly. I don't know. Otherwise, we'll just go to the farm store. If it was just an everyday tractor, I probably would have just bought a cheapo, but thought it'd be nice to try to get the right stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. It's going to take time. The weather's not very good again. This weekend it's supposed to be really super nice again, so I don't know. I'm trying not to get too sick by being out in the inappropriate weather, because I've already think I've overdone it, and I hate to be sick on the one good weather day, so I want to pace myself, you know. But we're waiting on parts, and then we are waiting on good weather, and then we can mess with our toy again. But we got plenty of stuff to do. This will be the next thing up. I know that really interests people, but that's what's going to happen. This will be next, and then we'll work on that Maytag. I've been sorting out, you know, different stuff on it. I probably need to do some more cleanup. I don't remember. I think I just evaporested this and didn't cook it, so I might cook this piece, and that foot pedals had nothing done to it, so I'll probably cook that and get those cleaned up. But we want to get this saw put back together, because otherwise our stuff is not going to be in good shape anymore, and we don't want that. So it should be ready to assemble. But that is neither here nor there. We will continue our progress on different projects, but everything gets its own video for the most part. Today's video probably wasn't very interesting, but like I said, with the weather the way it is, the best thing I could do is just formulate a plan and start gathering stuff that I could find. Another big thing we're going to have to do is pull that bracket off the green 1365 so that we can probably copy it and make a bunch to make our other tractors good, because I could not find. I looked everywhere and they aren't out there, whatever that is. It doesn't even show it in the parts book that way. It shows a different one. So I don't know. Slow progress, but progress nonetheless. This was an unplanned adventure, the red tractor, because we didn't think we were going to buy it. So anyway, we got plenty of projects to work on. We just need the time, the motivation, and we need our wallet to quit smoking for a while. We don't want to be going crazy. It's springtime. I don't like to spend a lot of money in the springtime on stuff like that. That's more of a fall time type of deal, you know. So we're gonna leave this one here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment, and that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.